Here we go. It's time to start the theme music. Hawaii! Welcome to Draw a Dragon, ladies and gentlemen. It is really great to be back on a Monday drawing dragons with everybody. I love it. I love it. I love it. Draw a Dragon with Gio Benedetti. Hey, I wonder what Gio Benedetti looks like because we can't see him right now. Hi, everybody. My name is Gio Benedetti. I love drawing dragons. Thanks for drawing dragons with me today. Hi, everybody. My name's Bob Ross. I have nothing to do with this show except that I'm a big fan of Gio's, and he's a big fan of mine. Great. I do love you, Bob Ross. Let's go hang out. All right. Well, Puppet Gio is hanging out with Bob Ross. Lucky. And I get to draw dragons with you. So I guess really, who's the lucky one? Welcome to Draw Dragon. Thanks everybody for joining this week. I had an idea. For what we were going to do this week. We've been drawing a lot of dragons, but we hadn't been drawing any scenery for our dragons to really live in. We'd done a little bit, but I wanted to do scenery, scenery for dragons this week. So that's what we're going to work on. Here's what you're going to need. A pencil. My pencils are getting very short because I haven't been to the art store in a long time and I've been drawing a lot. So I have a short little pencil. And then you're going to need an eraser. Holy cow, are you going to need an eraser? Embracer the eraser, or embrace the erase. I don't know what the t-shirt says yet, but it's something like that. And then hopefully we're going to have time to do some coloring. So I have a whole mess of colored pencils here. And if we get to the coloring part, I'll tell you more about that. And a piece of paper. That's all you need. That's all you need to draw a dragon. All right. I'm going to drawing view. Prepare yourself. Bam. All right, you guys. If for whatever reason, if you get bumped off today, if you can't finish this will be recorded and will be available. You can find the link through drawadragon.org. And if we're lucky, we might even be able to get this up on YouTube. We'll see. Look at this beautiful piece of paper, you guys. It's blank. It could be anything. It's going to be anything. It's going to be a hillside. How do you draw a hillside? I'm glad you asked that. You guys, when you're drawing scenery, the most important thing to remember is that things down here closer to you, the viewer, are closer than things that get towards the top of your page. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a hillside, a rolling hillside from Sonoma County, because that's where I live. And it's going to have hills and a little path. We might even throw a tree in there. And I'm going to start with the thing that is in front of me. Okay. I'm going to start with that. And then we're going to move backwards. That's going to be like the theme of drawing scenery is start close, move back. Check this out. I'm going to maybe about almost halfway up the page over here at the extreme edge of the page. But you know what? Because it's a beautiful hillside, let's hear this. Let's hear this.
I dare say it would appear that you have reached the extreme edge of the page.
There we are over on the extreme edge of the page. And watch what I'm going to do. I'm just going to draw a little, it's going to come down a little bit. Maybe just past the halfway point on my piece of paper. It's just going to come down and then, watch this. It's going to curl back around this way. Where you start and end this curve doesn't really matter, okay? But just a nice curved line. But look at that. From extreme edge of the page on the right to the extreme edge of the page at the bottom. I can tell today's going to be an extreme day. Hope everybody's ready. Even though it's Monday. Okay. This is going to be a little hillside, all right? But you know what I love in hillsides? I love paths. Like little hiking paths or maybe just like a path. So watch this. After you do that one curved line, I'm going to come over here, not the very top of it, but see how it comes down a little bit? I'm going to come down like right here after there's a little bit of a mound, not all the way down at the bottom, right about up here. And I'm going to make a little flattish line, just one flattish line. This is where my path is disappearing. And also, everybody, let's say hello to the glare. Our glare is here. Hello, glare. Do you think anyone names their kid Glare? Because I know Claire is a very beautiful name, but what about Glare? I bet somebody out there is named Glare. All right, so watch this. I'm going to make from where I stopped that little flat line, I'm going to trace, I'm going to follow the same curve here, and I'm going to start narrow, and it's going to get a little wider down here. Watch. Following the curve, getting a little wider at the bottom. Check that out. That's a little path. If you can escape the glare, you can see the path. There we go. And then after I make my little path, I'm going to continue the little hillside. So the hillside over here is going to go, and then because it's like a hillside, it's just going to be, if you want, you can do like little wrinkly crinklies. Okay. Like grassy crinkles all the way down. There we go. Now, if this kind of a hillside with this kind of a path is enough for you, you're done. That rules. All right. You just did it. Check it out. Hillside, path, done. We're going to keep adding stuff, though, just to make it look more like a hillside. It's really helpful to find some ways to separate the different layers of your scenery. So what I'm going to do here, beyond this little hillside, is there's going to be a row of trees. And the row of trees is going to disappear right down to here. So I'm going to start at kind of the end of my path. And I'm just going to make a jagged line of like different sized trees. Maybe like some of them are like bushy trees, like that. And I'm just going to make it all the way to this extreme edge of the page. Oh my goodness. How extreme can we get today? I'll tell you how extreme. I'm going to have to go over here to play some extreme edge of the page.
Extreme edge of the page.
Wow, what? Yes. Okay, so here's my little, you know what? To make it look, if you want it to look like there's lots of layers in these trees, after you do a line of trees like this, you can put some other trees behind it, like that, and like that. Or you can put some trees in front of it, like this. That's how you make it look like there's layers. Just keep adding little lumps, little tree lumps, or little like pointy trees. It's really nice. Look, now there's like little bushes over here on this side of my hillside. Isn't that lovely? I think we're gonna have a giant tree. Should we have a giant tree? Well, Geo, my name's Bob Ross, and I'm totally in favor of giant trees in front of everything. Thanks, Bob Ross. Appreciate your tip. I'm going to put a tree. It's going to be right here. And I'm going to make a big old trunk that's going to come up, and I'm going to have a beautiful like oak tree. Yeah, like an oak tree up here. Okay, so watch what we're going to do. This is all grass. And if you want to look like your roots are disappearing into the grass, then just draw the top part of the roots. So watch, I'm going to make a trunk coming down, and then it's going to come over here, and maybe I got some roots. I've got some roots. Okay, look at that. Little rootsies coming down. Here's the other side of my trunk, by the way. I'm going to have to erase some of these planting lines. That's why we're always using teeny tiny pencils and erasers, because we're going to have to erase a bunch of our planting lines. And here's my tree. Here's the big, big trunk. And you know what's fun to make like little, it's fun to make like little, you can make some little circles on your trunk to kind of show the curvature of your trunk. And you can make like little gnarly bits of bark, just like little, kind of like mark it up. I love marking up trees. And sometimes it's fun to put like a knot in there. How about on this side? Watch this. Putting like a little circle there, and maybe I'll give it a little echo of a circle here. Okay, a little knotted, gnarly part of my tree. And then I'll have a branch coming up here. Maybe another branch coming up here. The way that I do my branches is I kind of work one branch at a time. Okay, so here's a branch, and then this branch, oh, well, this branch happens to be behind this branch. That's why this line disappears and stops here. Over here, let's have this one coming way out. Or not. You guys can make your branch doing whatever. Okay, and then this is what branches tend to do, you guys. They tend to start, and then once they've started, they just keep forking. And then once it's forked, it'll fork again. And then maybe there's like another one coming. You don't have to do any of these you don't have to do any of these imaginary invisible branches. Oh, Gabriel the cat, we are going to do some scenery. So this is going to be a hillside, and then we'll throw a dragon into our hillside. Because we've got a bunch of ways to draw dragons, but no scenery yet. So I want to do a bunch of different types of scenery. And Stella's practicing her juggling, and update, she's getting pretty good. So I'm going to start at the extreme top edge of the page, maybe like just past the halfway point, and watch this. Just a bunch of curled lines. Look at this. If you want to, this is quick, how to do a quick bushy tree. Okay? This is a really nice way to do it. And then, of course, maybe there's like some little bushy parts down here. Ooh, you know what? There's probably like a little bushy part behind the big bushy part. This branch is going to disappear into the bushes. This is how you make it look like branches are disappearing into the bushes. You put those little bushies at the end of each branch. Disappearing right into that tree. Look at that. And then you can kind of continue the tree however. And you can add different layers to your tree too. You can add like, oh, they're little. I like drawing like there's like always like little leafy bits that just kind of stick off. I love having little leaves kind of around my tree. Like this. And then, yeah, sometimes I'll just draw a single leaf. Anything you can do to make it look less flat. Because if there's one thing trees are not, it is flat. Sometimes I say the wisest things. I hope you guys are recording this. Okay. All right, so there's my tree. Now, my idea today for the dragon is that I have a dragon that's coming off of the extreme edge of the page here, and it's going to be looking, because there's probably a hiker. Maybe we can make a hiker coming up this trail, and this dragon is like, oh man, that hiker is really in for it. Okay, so I'm going to reserve a space here and kind of all over here. This is all going to become dragon space. Okay. You don't have to do any of that. I just want you to know I want to have a dragon here, but really more than anything, I want you guys to feel like, oh, if I wanted to put something in a hillside setting, I could do it. So we started with the foreground, and we have our nice little hill. We have a tree. We have a path. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And now we're going to do the middle ground. Okay. So now behind all this stuff that's going to be happening in the front, we need some other hills. Here's what we're going to do. Disappearing behind these trees over here. I'm going to start with a line and watch this. Oh, look at that beautiful rolling hill. And then maybe coming up here, I have another one. Okay, and then maybe coming out of here, I have another one, and it disappears behind this tree. Maybe it comes up here. Maybe that's the end of those hills up there. These are Sonoma County rolling hills, you guys. And one thing that we have in our Sonoma County rolling hills is we have lots of little, wherever you want, wherever it feels good, we're going to make little bushies. What this is, these are like little groves of trees that have shown up, right? Maybe there's like just like a little patch here. It's like a patch of trees. Maybe there's another one here. Maybe there's another one here. But it's good so that instead of it just being a bunch of different little squiggly rolling hill things, put a little bit of detail in there, because there's all these little shadows that would happen, and you get your little batches of trees, and it starts to look more like a hillside back there. Yes. All you jugglers. Juggling is not easy. Let me tell you, I've been trying to juggle with Stella, and it is like, it's really fun, and it is challenging. Okay, so I have a nice hillside coming off back here. Now, even more in the background, I'm going to have another row of hills back here. So I'm going to come off the extreme edge of the page. Extreme edge of the page. Over here. And I'm going to have some nice rolling hills that are rolling down this way. And then coming out of here, watch this. I'm going to come up and then roll it back down. And another one here until they disappear behind my tree. And now I have my layer of hills in the foreground. I have a layer of hills here, and I have another layer of hills coming back this way. Every single time I do this, look, here's a hill, and then I stop the line, and then I start this one from the middle, and then I stop it, and I start this one. Every time I do that, it makes it seem like each hill is behind the other hill. That's really important. Otherwise, if you do it the other way, it'll get backwards, and it'll look like the hills are getting close to you as they get farther up the page, and your eye will be like, what's going on? And your brain will like explode. That would be terrible. I don't want anyone's brain to explode. No exploding brains out there. The very last thing that I'm going to add here is a very, very distant background, okay? Very, very distant background row of hills. Maybe there's like a valley in between these hills and the next row. And so back here, very lightly, I'm just going to have a little row of hills way back there. Okay? You don't even have to put that back there. If you're happy with your hills the way that they are, great. Don't even worry about it. You know what? Just really quickly, let me show you. Here's the basic thing for the hillside. We had foreground, right? And then the next row was behind it. And that was, it's like a loaf of bread. You make a loaf of bread behind it. And then I had another loaf of bread curling this way. And then behind that, I had some background hills. If you make your scenery like this, where you have stuff in the front that sits here, and then a nice layer where things are moving always behind here, always behind, as long as you get those different layers, you're probably going to be in good shape for drawing, you know, either loaves of bread or hills, or maybe this is a giant worm that's coming up over the horizon to eat everybody. No, run away, help! You know, it starts out helpful and then it just gets ridiculous. I don't know why. I don't know how that happens. So here we go. We've got our hills in the far back. We've got the next row of hills. We've got another row of beautiful hills. We've got these trees separating the middle ground hills from our foreground hills. And we've got this big, beautiful tree. If you're in the mood for a beautiful spring scenery picture today, and you don't think there should be a dragon about to eat somebody coming up the path, then just stop right here and then wait for the coloring, okay? This is your last chance to save the life of a poor innocent hiker. But if you're down to draw a dragon hiding behind a tree about to eat a poor unsuspecting hiker, then by all means, continue with me. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to draw a dragon, and it's going to be right here. But the dragon is going to be looking this way. If the dragon is looking away from me, I have to remember. You guys remember Tube Workshop? I was talking to Captain Joe at the Tube Workshop today. He was telling me that he had a special bonus on dragon tubes that are facing away from you. I'm going to draw a circle. This is the back of my dragon's head, and the dragon is looking this way. Okay, so if this is the back of my dragon's head, the front of my dragon's head is going to be over here. So I'm going to attach a line from the top to the top, from the side to the side, and from the bottom to the bottom. Okay, and I'm just going to make a little shape that's going to be my dragon's head. Okay, and then of course, if this is the back of my dragon's head, there's going to be a neck. It's going to curve off this way and then up into a body until it goes right off the extreme edge of the page. Here's the bottom of the neck, and it's also going to just curl right off the back of the page. Okay, here's the head of my dragon. Here's where it meets the neck. Here's the neck. Now check this out. Remember from the tube workshop, if you want to remember how to draw that dragon's neck and where it's going to meet the body and everything, you got to remember that you're looking at a tube. It's a tube, you guys. Check it out. Tube, tube. I'm going to draw the curve of that tube all the way back. It's getting a little bit more sideways to me now. So I'm going to start making the line a little bit straighter. Here it's about sideways to me, but here it's curling this way. I'm going to be erasing all these lines later, so it's kind of fun to show you all these things. So it's like straight, and then it starts to curve this way so that it can look over here at that hiker. You do not have to draw any of those planning lines if you don't want to. I'm going to have to come in and erase a bunch of them anyway. But when I'm planning, this is really helpful because I can't figure it all out right off the bat. Here's a wing. That's probably like about where the wing would be. So I'm going to draw a ball there for where I'm going to start my wing. And then its front leg, its big, powerful front leg would probably be right about here. So I'm going to draw a big oval for that. Okay. And then this is probably its elbow, right? Its arm would come back here for its elbow. And then the tube would come forward. And then it would have a big dragon foot here in the grass. But remember, this is all grass up here. So I'm not even going to mess with it. I'm not even going to mess with drawing that foot because it's all going to be buried in the tall grasses. It's kind of fun when you're dealing with grass because you don't ever have to, like these roots that are coming down. Here, let's make our tree coming down a little bit farther so that it gets underneath this dragon. Those roots, oh, they're just grass. Just grass. And then check it out. Because the tree roots are up here, there's this line of grass. Notice that the foot is down here. That means that this foot is closer to you than the tree roots, which helps to put our dragon behind the tree. All these little things. All right. I started the shoulder for this wing. We got to draw this wing. Wings, man, wings are hard to draw. Do you guys ever feel like wings are hard to draw? I feel like sometimes I just want all my dragons to be snake dragons because wings are so hard to draw. Here's where it would be coming back. And now, because its wings are down, because it's trying to be sneaky, the wings are bent up like this right now, okay? Look at this. Here's the arm coming back. I drew that part. Now, the wing, the part of the wing that comes up to our little hook part up here at the top, you probably wouldn't even see that because you'd have all this wing stuff going on behind it, right? And here, all the way down. It's a whole bunch of lines. This is getting messy over here on this dragon. This always happens. I'm here to help. Oh, thanks, Eraser. That's excellent. Okay. We're going to have to do some erasing over here so you guys can see what I actually am trying to draw. Here was the shoulder for our wing. I definitely want this tube that comes up to this wing and then it hits the wing wall. This line I love. This is a great line. That's where the outside of the wing is. Like the actual like wingy part that would spread out as it flies through the triumphant skies, eating hikers all the live long day. Okay. And then this would be the other side of that wing because it's not spread out yet. There we go. Here's my tube of the wing from the shoulder coming up. There's some invisible parts in here where it's actually coming up inside of here, but I can't draw that because it's being covered up by the wing wall. Top of the wing, bottom of the wing. And then I know just when you think you're done, you're like, oh, it has that other wing on the other side of its body, doesn't it? So I'm just going to very quickly, not at the same angle as this wing, maybe a little bit like this, and then a little bit like this. I'm just going to do the shape of it. Okay. There's the wing on the other side. And then we're going to have a whole lot of fun erasing to do. Okay. I need to do a whole bunch of erasing over here on this dragon before I am going to be able to do anything else with this dragon. And I'm gonna have to probably redo it all because I realized that was kind of fast. And when the lines get too close together, it gets a little confusing. So what I need to do before I do my erasing is I need to put on my funky erasing jam music. Okay, so I'm gonna just get that started. I'll go to my camera. Get ready for some erasing. Get your eraser Logan, your dance moves are spectacular, as always. Such a rock and roller. Okay, here's the pencil. Coming back to the back of my dragon. Here was that shoulder that we made, and it came down. That shoulder started as just like a little circle, and then it came down, and we put, I love spiky elbows. You guys know I love spiky elbows. Spiky elbows. Such a good name for a band. Spiky elbows. All right. Coming out of this shoulder, coming down for the forearm of our dragon. Okay. There we go. All right. So far, so good. We started with the shoulder for the wing, and it comes up here, and it disappears. It disappears. In my planning lines, I had some lines up here where this part of the wing bone connected to this part of the wing bone, which connected to the pointy part. But here was my curving wing that covered it all up. That's the back line of the wings on this side of the body. Okay, and then, of course, it has to have a wing on the other side. So I didn't do the exact same angle here because it's on the other side of the body. It'd be coming out at a different angle. So I made more of a straight line that came up. And then, kind of thinking about this same basic shape of coming up and then coming forward into that hook, I curled it forward, made it into a point, and then brought it back until I hit the wing wall. And that was for my front and back wings. And I'm just going to leave those alone now. And I'm going to concentrate to get my dragon's head so that it looks like it's looking down the path. Okay. I can still see my planning lines, which is great because I'm going to have to remember that this is where the chin meets the neck. Here's my dragon's head. This is a sneaky dragon, so I'm going to use more of the triangle eyes. All right. Check this out. We're going to put an eye right about here on our dragon. Remember how important this is? Look, if you're feeling sweet, like maybe this person's walking up the path and it's going to meet its friendly dragon, you can make big circle eyes looking down the path, and it'll be like, oh, I hope my friend comes to play today. That's a great story to draw. That is not the story that I am drawing at all. No, the story that I'm drawing is about a dragon who's about to eat a hiker. So I'm going to draw my triangle eyes Sneaky little triangle eyes. Okay. Very small, hard to see on this little screen. Now, because of the angle of my dragon, what you would see back here is mainly dragon horns. Okay, so what I started was I started drawing a circle, a nice big curve of a circle, and then I threw a horn on top of it. On the other side of this neck, another horn coming up. Okay, this is going to really help with the angle of the head. Draw a horn curving up this way, coming over to the right. Behind the neck, I have the other horn popping up. Really helps you feel like the horn is, like the dragon is facing down this little trail. Okay, and now here's the head coming off of this horn, coming down, and then because of the angle that we're seeing this dragon at, its mouth is not going to look that long. Remember, here's a really long dragon head. Look at how much shorter it gets as it starts to look away from us. Much shorter, much shorter. Okay, so it's going to look much shorter. Coming out of my dragon head, it's going to come down into its little beaky thing. Put a little nubbin for a nostril down at the end. And then my mouth is going to come back, but it's going to come back at a downward angle and not very far. Just maybe to where my eyeball was. That's as far as it's going to come. I'm going to erase this the bottom line that I made for my dragon's head. And we're going to replace it with a bunch of spikes. Coming back with spikes. And then, of course, remember, you're looking right at the back, from the back of the dragon. So all these spikes would be coming out back here. So I just made a big old jagged line starting from the bottom of that chin, or the bottom of the beak, coming all the way around this side. And then sneaking out from those spikes, you've got your neck. Now here's the final touch for our dragon. I'm going to come up not like to the halfway point, to like the 1/3 point fractions. Some of you haven't done fractions yet. That's fine. We're going to start right here, and we're going to follow the curve of our belly all the way back. Because these are the belly scales. And there's our belly scales going all the way back. Oh, I just made him even grumpier. Grumpy dragon. Sometimes when I get up to where the arm flesh, the fleshy parts of the arm hit another part of the body, like at the shoulder here or at the elbow here, if you add a couple of little crinkles, it'll make it look like it's bending a little bit more. Just my little crinkles. I'd added a crinkle. You guys can do any kind of dragon you want to do, always. Ipo, if you have a different idea for any kind of dragon that you want to do on your page, please do whatever. This is the one that I'm going to show today, just from my drawing, but we'll do a different one every day. And tomorrow it'll be a different one, and always different. But if you guys have different ideas for what to put in your hillside scenery today, please do it. All right, the last thing I need to add, I got to erase something right here. Oh no, this poor hiker. A little head, little body. The legs are there. See how it disappears behind the hillside? You can't even see it behind the hillside there. Maybe the hiker's wearing a hat, nice sun hat, because it's a nice sunny day. So here's a hat for my hiker. You guys can draw whatever kind of hiker you want. Here's my hiker. And my hiker's wearing, these are backpack straps. Okay. And here's the arms. You know, some people like hold on to their backpack straps while they're walking. This person's holding on to their backpack straps with that arm. This arm's over here. I just put a circle for a hand because it's so far away. They got a little walking stick. Oh, they love this hike. This is their favorite hike in town. Maybe like a little collar for their shirt. Little nose sticking out from under the hat. Yep, just out for a little hike here. Nothing to worry about. No worries. Oh my gosh. Somebody just put in the chat, can we do a dragon licking its lips? That's awesome. Please do that, you guys. Oh, wow. That's a great idea. All right. This is all that I'm going to do with my drawing pencil today, because one of the huge things that you can do to make your scenery look really scenic is in the coloring. And I want to take time on the coloring. So I'm going to do a quick face camera. Go into the face camera. Hi, guys. Just quick face camera moment so that I can say hi and thanks for drawing a dragon with me. I know that we don't know if this is the last, if you guys go back to school, then this is the last week of Draw a Dragon. But if you guys are not in school, we are still drawing dragons. Draw a Dragon will be happening next week. If you need to redo the invitation, tell your parental figure or your own person to send me an email, geo@drawadragon.org. And then I can send you the Zoom invite. Also, I'm going to try and be streaming these on YouTube, so hopefully that'll work. Okay, enough of the business stuff. Save it for the end. Let's color. Here are the colors that I got. I got a couple of light greens. I got a yellow. I got a gold. And then I got a couple of dark greens. This is going to be a springtime hillside. So I need all of these greens to make it happen, okay? Get all your greens. All right, I got some browns. I got a light brown, and I got 2 darker browns. That's 3 browns. That's for my tree. And maybe I'll throw some shadows in there. And then here's the other part. I have black, and I have kind of a purplish blue, which is really nice. What is this one called? Oh, it's called violet. And this one is a dark blue. So these are like my shading colors, and the violet is for our very distant hills, okay? If you want to do your outlines with pen, you can. I would recommend waiting on your outlines until you've colored. That can be a really nice way to clean it up at the end, okay? If you want to do outlines now, you can. I'm not going to do that because we don't have time. I want to show you these cool coloring tricks. All right, so let's go back to drawing cam. Back to the drawing cam. Okay, for my coloring, you guys, I'm going to start way at the back. If you want to do a beautiful blue sky, you can do a beautiful blue sky. I'm not doing a beautiful blue sky. I'm going to start with my very, very back line of hills. When you are coloring scenery, the stuff that is closest to you is the darkest, brightest, most vibrant colors. And then they get more and more faded as they get further away. Okay. Liam, I'll probably be drawing dragons through the month of May, as long as my kids are in school. I will let you know, but as far as I know, we have at least 2 more weeks of Draw Dragon. Probably 3. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my violet. The darkest violet is going to be along the top of the hillside. Okay. Here's another secret of coloring scenery. The top edge is the most visible edge, and then it fades out to almost nothing at the bottom. So I'm coloring at the top, and I'm trying to fade out to almost nothing as it comes down. Almost nothing. Coloring the top, fading out to almost nothing. Coloring the top, fading out. Coloring the top, fading out. Those are my distant, super distant purple hills. I'm trying to leave the place where the next hill shows up should be almost white. Shouldn't have any color at all. Okay, I'm going to get my light green for this next row of hills. And I'm going to do the same idea. I'm going to color along the top, not even that dark, just like a little bit dark. Little bit dark, following my outline with my planning pencil. Okay. And then as I come down towards this next row of hills, I'm fading it out till it's almost white. Fading it out. Fading it out. I'm doing the same thing all the way down. You got to remember that. As soon as you get too dark in your background, it creeps closer. Your brain thinks it's closer, and then you're like, no, it's the background. And then everybody's like, no, it's not. It's super dark. Why didn't you leave it light? Like Gio told you to. And then it'll be a really bad day, and you'll blame me, and I'll feel responsible. And then I'll have to send you an I'm sorry card with careful instructions on how to leave your background nice and light. Okay. So again, it can be dark up towards the top, and then as you come down, make it light. Okay. I feel okay about that. I'm coming one more layer forward. So I'm going to do the same thing with the same color. I'm still on my light green, coloring dark across the top, getting lighter. For those of you who have been using the Draw Dragon Zoom invite, I think the last day on the Zoom invite is next week. So I got to check to see if I can just extend it with the same info, or if I have to send out a new invite. Everybody might need new invites after this week. Not sure. Okay. Like every single time I come to the top of a planning line, remember, don't forget this little guy over here. Oh, look at that little one. Fading it out also. And then as I come down, I'm fading out, and it's going to be very light behind my hiker here. And then my hiker will really show up. But now check this out. I have an alternate light green. Check out this alternate light green. I'm going to come back because I want the purple hills furthest back. This row of hills next furthest. This one, I want it to look closer than this one. So I'm going to add another layer of color. And as I add more rich color to this, it's going to start to look like, oh, clearly this hillside is closer than the one behind it. Honestly, that is exactly what your brain is translating. Your eyes see these colors, and your brain just decides, like, this must be closer to you because it has all this lovely color in it. When you're drawing and coloring, you do kind of have to figure out how to trick the brain. That's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to trick the brain. Okay, and by adding a little extra color, I can make this part look like it's a little bit closer than this part. Okay. Now, as I'm getting up closer and closer still, I'm going to leave these trees alone for the moment. And for my grass, here's that same light green that I've been using. Same light green. I'm going to go crazy with it. Super fast coloring job. All over everything. And you guys remember that colored pencils are like people. They just want to be with their friends. They like to be with other people. They're social animals. And if you're the type of person who's not a social animal and you like to be by yourself, then colored pencils are not like people. They're like ants. They are social and they need to be in a colony. Which is a ridiculous way of trying to tell you when you're coloring with colored pencils, color in layers. Oops, I missed all this in here. This is just more of that back hillside. Okay, so this is just that first layer that I'm going to put down. There's a whole bunch of white spots, and I don't care about that because watch what I'm going to do. Now that I'm done with that layer of green, I'm coming in with yellow, the brightest canary yellow that you've got. Now, this is what really makes these hills show up right in front of you, because we only see these detail highlights and the richness of color in the things that are closest to us. We don't see them in the background. So I'm going to take my yellow. I'll make a little mark up here, way up at the top of my page. The sun is kind of coming in from this side. All right. You guys see my little arrow? So if the sun's coming in from this side, then, oh, this little nubbin of hillside would be bright, shining bright. That would even continue maybe to back here, and then maybe this part of the hillside as it curls would be getting a little darker. So not so much there. This side here, this is the sunny side right here. Look at all these beautiful sunny grasses. Lovely. Oh, so lovely. And now that I've done that, I'm going to come back to the exact same green that I had before. And I'm going to go over, not the whole thing, but some of the spots where I put my yellow. And then I'm going to have some darker green spots. I'm going to have some bright yellow spots. And the whole thing is just going to be Beautiful. And then as I come around the corner here, it's going to get even darker. It's going to be nice, dark, rich green over there. Maybe I'll put some of that. This is still that first color green. So far, I've only used 3 colors. I had, four. I had my purple, same green for here, here, and here. And I'm still using that green right now. This was the other light green that I added to my middle hills. I'm going to start scribbling with that over this whole thing. I'm going to be careful not to go over all of the yellow. I want there to be some spots that are still going to be like bright, bright yellow. Okay. So I'm just going to scribble my lighter green around in here. I'll scribble some light green around up in here. Oh, it's going to look really nice all up in here by the tree and by my dragon. So I'm going to probably go nuts with it up here. But then I still have my nice yellow spots where the sun, the rays of the sun. That's why our hiker's wearing the hat, of course, because it's a sunny day. You know, you don't wear hats like that when you're hiking on a cold day. The yellow glare came back. I'm just going to try out a little bit of golden color, maybe a little gold in with my yellows and greens here in these really highlighty spots. Not a lot, just a little bit here and there. Nice. That's all I needed to make myself happy. Okay. Now I have dark green and grass green. And with these 2 darker greens, I'm going to go in for some hills. Check this out. Or not hills. We already did the hills. The trees. Check out this dark green, this grass green. I'm going to put back here on all those little bushes, little clumps of trees that we drew back here. Okay. You don't need to see very many details back there, but just enough to know that there's some trees back there. And then I'm going to use my grass green for all of this stuff. If you want to use a different color green for each bush, that'll probably look better. It'll look more detailed. But when we do this, sometimes I have to have an eye on the clock. And I want to be able to do a few other fun things like with some shading. And I don't even, maybe we'll get to color the dragon. Maybe not. We'll see. So that was my grass green. Okay. Whoa. That's going to be the base, my basic color. I'm going to come back with that same green that I was using on my hillsides for the tops of these trees. For the tops of these trees and maybe the sides that are facing where my light is coming from. Okay, so just little tops of these trees, going from golden to green. You know, tops of the trees, that kind of thing. Here we go, getting a little green in there. And now, the moment I've been waiting for. My dark green. These trees are on the opposites. What we're looking at is we're looking at the side of the tree that is behind the light. So I'm going to take this dark color and I'm going to go I'm going to have a ball with it. I'm just going to go to town. Everywhere that I think there might be dark back here. Be dark behind all these trees. Give me a little shadow back there. As long as you get a lighter side and a darker side to these bushes, they will just start to look like, oh yeah, those are bushes, clearly. If you just color them one color, not as much. Those shadows of bushes are just really, really fun. And they make them look like they're actually all these layers to it. Look at that. Look at what just happened. Ah! Ah! Look at that. Like magic, I turn it back white. Look at that. Look at this. And then watch. Oh no. Oh no. No, don't go yellow on me. Ah! Lucas and Volcano Guy, I totally appreciate it. I love the drawing dragons too. I think we can keep it going forever, for sure. Every day of the week, maybe not, but we'll definitely keep it going. Okay, we have finished our scenery for the hillsides, and I've basically told you everything that I want to tell you about creating hillside scenery for today. Okay, the important things are remembering that your background, dark at the top and faded out. dark at the top and fade it out. And then remember that the highlights and the rich colors only show up here in the very, very front of your foreground. And actually, you see so much detail in grass as it gets closer that you see all the shadow under the grass. And so I've got my dark green here, and I'm just throwing like little grassy bits. And especially when you throw them in on the highlighted sections, it makes the highlights look even brighter. So I'm just going to throw my little grassy bits around. I'm throwing little grassy bits around over here. You can angle them whatever old way you want, just like little shadows here and there, because the grass does stuff all willy-nilly. Now, where the grass meets the path, now this is going to be really dark. And when you shade this, make sure that you remember that these are all like little grass leaves that are coming down. So it's going to be a jagged shadow. It's going to be coming in all jaggedy. And then it looks like this part of this grass is like hanging over this really dark shadow here. That's a really fun part that makes this hillside kind of pop up. Okay. And then we get our little brown. I'm just going to take some light brown. Very lightly on this path. Very lightly. I'll get a little darker as I get closer to myself. Getting closer, getting closer. Okay. But notice how it's so light back here. I love that. So nice. You can use that same blue. You can use this. Blue? What? Excuse me? Hey, you guys, let's have a game where every time I say a word totally wrong, because I've been doing it more and more, we'll score points. We'll see how many points we get this week. That's definitely 1 point. Holding a brown pencil and saying the word blue. Boy. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and light brown across all of this tree. What I like to do when I'm coloring with colored pencils, I like to start, if I don't need a really, really bright highlight, if I don't need white, then I'll start with a basic middle ground color and color the shape that I need, that color. In this case, tree trunk. And I'm coming all around my dragon here with my brown. Okay. And then, check it out, exact same color. I'm going to leave, remember, the sun is coming in on this side, so I'm going to leave this edge of the tree alone. But all this part back here, well, this would probably be darker now, wouldn't it? Sure would, Gio. So I'm going to go darker with the exact same color. Same color. Okay. And I'm coming all the way down. And then, well, I have a dark brown also. And so for the parts that I think would be really shadowed, like the parts that are going to be shadowed by all these tree branches up here. Ooh, and then because tree branches and leaves have all those cool shapes, it's really fun when you're drawing your shadows on your tree. Sometimes you can just like leave little, watch. If I go really dark and I leave like little patches, it'll look like, oh, of course, that's where the light is coming through the branches. So I'll go real dark and then I just leave little patches. And then it looks kind of like your tree's got a weird disease, a little blotchy disease. That's good. That's what we want. Okay. And I'm going to keep my shadow coming down all the way, especially along this back side, because the sun would have a very hard time getting all the way around the tree. If you want it to look especially sunlit, I'm going to take a gold and I'll come back across this outside part. Okay. And I'll do a layer that's just all kind of nice goldy colors. And then maybe if you really want it to look like that gold is showing up in other places on your tree because it's filtering through the trees, you can put it in on the inside too. Up to you how you want to do it. Of course. But I like the sun hitting my tree like that. And then it's 10:56. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. I would definitely be drawing a green dragon because this dragon has evolved to blend in perfectly with its hunting grounds. So I'm not going to worry about the top of my tree. I'm going to have to do this once our session is done. And I'm not going to worry about my hiker. I'll do that later also. But I do really quickly. I'm going to go over. This is going to be the same green as the hillside. It's going to be the same basic color for my dragon. That's why it's so hard to spot, you know? And I'm going to color it the same way I colored the trunk of the tree, because this dragon is in the shadow of the tree. So check it out. After I go over it again with the same middle ground color, which is that light green, I'm going to take the dark green, which is going to be my shadow color for this dragon, and I'm going to go all over the back of it. And I'm going to leave little spots, and I'm going to try and make it look like, you know, kind of tree-shaped shadows with little openings. But of course, back here, the wings are covering everything. So this is just going to be solid shadow. But maybe up here on the shoulder, it'll be like, you know, some blotchy shadows. Down here on the bottom of the chin, well, the dragon's head is going to shadow. It's going to shadow itself. Okay. And now, like, those little blotchy shadows are just so much fun to do, to like give a foresty effect. I'm going to put gold belly scales on here real quick. And then a little bit of dark green. Because wherever this dragon is, it's casting a shadow, right? Because the sun's coming from up here. So to more firmly put my dragon in this meadow, on this little hillside, I'm going to put a nice dark shadow underneath it. And to make it really shadowy, for the first time, I'm going to have to reach for the black pencil. For the first time, I'm going to have to find the black pencil. And I can't. No, I can. I faked you out. Here it is. So I'm going to there. I'm going to get some shadow from my dragon while it's up here on the hillside. Okay. Woo! I'm really excited about this, and I'm really sorry for that hiker. I hope that maybe in some of your guys' pictures, the hiker made it out a little bit better than he did in mine. Poor guy. You know, he just wanted to go for a hike. He thought it was a nice sunny day. Perfect hiking day. I will finish coloring this, and then when I'm done, I will post it up on the Facebook page, and I'll post it up on our website, drawdragon.org. But for now, I'm going to come back to my FaceTime camera. I'm going to turn on my lights and open up my window. The glare doesn't bother me now. Okay. Nice little hillside dragon. We're going to do more scenery dragon stuff as we go forward this week. So thanks for drawing with me, everybody. I'm going to play my little theme music out. Stick around for the Zoom show and tell. Okay. Please, oh, please, oh, please. Stick around for the Zoom show and tell. I love seeing the dragons that you guys draw with me. It's kind of my favorite part. But for now, I'm going to play my little theme music. And I'm just going to say a big thanks. I'll put the donation information over here in the chat. If you guys can donate to Draw Dragon, totally appreciate it. And don't forget, www.drawdragon.org. Check it out. And if you send me an email with your dragon drawing, I can put it in our dragon gallery. That would be awesome. And if you're gonna donate, you can donate to Venmo at GioBenedetti, or you can donate to PayPal, which is gio@giobenedetti.com. And that's it. Thanks so much for drawing dragons with me, you guys. That was super duper fun. And we're gonna go to show and tell as soon as I stop the recording and as soon as I burp really loud into the microphone.